Okay, the naming conventions. See, it is a very, very small chapter, but it has the highest importance than any other chapter in whatever I'm teaching. The reason is because in future you're going to keep your code in GitHub, and the employers were going to hire you, and when you're going to present yourself with your GitHub account, your profile URL, you are going to add it to your resume, and definitely they are going to look into your code, and just by looking the code, just like that, they can tell whether you are trained by a professional or are you a professional or not. So we have to maintain a proper naming conventions in every program we write. So let me tell you some of the conventions which a Java developer should follow. Okay, first thing is the class name. See, if you take a class name like test or employee here, my first letter is capital and the remaining letters are in small. Suppose if it is contain two words, then data. So first letter of every word is capital. This is called as Pascal convention. So why this is called as Pascal convention? Simple. This type of convention is first followed in a programming language called Pascal. The that programming language is named after a mathematician. Okay, now to name the class or to name the interface. Interface is something you are going to study in future. You have to follow Pascal convention. Now to name the packages, you should always use small letters. Why? The reason is simple. In Windows, folder name, we know that one package means a folder. So folder names or file names in Windows are not case sensitive, whereas in Linux it is case sensitive. So that means we can have one package called capital HR and another package called small hr. So we can have one folder called capital HR, another folder called small hr. So that creates a problem if you move the development from Linux to Windows platform. So what we do, we keep what's minimum possible for both of them, something which is common for both of them, that is small letters. And no, one more thing, convention will not result in any of the compile time error. Is all something, is more like an understanding that is a common language that we developers speak together. And to name the variables, if it contains one word, then small letters. To name the variables and to name methods, if it contains one word, then we use small letters. If it contains two words, then every preceding word will have capital letter. Say do something or do something else, something like this. So what we'll do, we'll have every preceding word will have capital letter. And even to name the reference variables like this, let's say if you are saying emp obj, then you would name like this o capital. So this type of convention is called as Camel Convention. So why it is called as Camel Convention? I'll draw one of my masterpiece. See, one small letter, capital letter. I know you may be already feeling like laughing. Go ahead, laugh if you want. Yeah, something is missing. The eyes. Yeah, now it looks beautiful. Okay, mouth. Want him to be what? Laughing. Oh, one more thing is missing. And yes. And the last one. Isn't it look nice? If you want autograph, just get in touch with me in my FB account. So we have a camel here, maybe a dinosaurus, small caps. So this is exactly the reason that convention is called as Camel Convention. A real artist never, leave his art without proper signing. So now let's come back here. So understood what is Camel Convention. And the next one is to name constants. If you have any final variables as such, you will use all caps like this. If it contains two words, then you'll separate them using underscore. And what other things you need to follow? When you are naming the class, it should indicate a noun, Noun. It should indicate a noun. And when you are naming the interface, it should indicate an adjective like doable, runnable, jumpable. We'll see to that when we start with the inheritance chapter. So that's all the naming conventions. Yeah, there is one more thing. When you're naming a method, it's a behavior, right? So it should always indicate an action. A verb should be involved, like do something, start the car, add two numbers, add. So things like that. So please do follow this convention. And in the classroom, remind me to tell you some of the success stories which you created only because our student follow the right convention in their interviews or in their code or in their project or when they are working.